Hello, Dreadfuls. I'm Jean.
I'm Derek.
And welcome back to the Dr. Dread podcast, where we explore all things unusual, unsettling, and unexplained. And I have something new for you, Derek. A little different than the last one we did.
Okay.
So, not Beavis and Butthead, not law-related.
Okay.
All right. Well, you've heard about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You've heard about Mothman.
Yeah.
You've heard about the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
Well, today I'm going to talk about some lesser-known cryptids.
Ooh, I'll have to tell you about this. I love my cryptids.
Good. I thought you'd like this one. So, yes, lesser-known cryptids today. And we're going to start things off with the knot deer.
I've never heard of that one.
You've
before.
never heard of the knot deer?
So you're telling me it's a reindeer?
No, it's a knot deer.
What the fuck is a knot deer?
Okay. Well, you imagine you're out in the woods. Just out walking around in the woods.
Okay.
And all of a sudden you see a deer, ?
What? This doesn't make any fucking sense.
It looks like a deer. It looks like a deer mostly. But something's off about it.
What do you mean
Perhaps its legs bend the wrong way. It might be the wrong size. Its legs might be too long. Its head might be too big. Some stories even say that its eyes either look more like a cougar's eyes, like a predator's eyes, that they're spaced closer to the front of its head and maybe have slits like a cat's eyes. Or some even say that the eyes look almost human. So knot deer are almost deer, but something's off about them.
What the fuck did I just hear?
You just heard about the knot deer.
So you're telling me this deer could be a human, cat, cougar, or whatever the fuck it could be?
No, they mostly look like deer, but just the longer you look at them, the more you realize that something's not quite right about them.
So you're telling me your brain just spazzes out and just makes the deer look how it wants to?
No, there's of course, what's the word? Words, spacing. Mass hysteria is always a theory for these sort of things. So that is a theory that people are just kind of making up what they see. But no, the theory of the knot deer is that it's not your brain spazzing out. It's that it's a creature that's close to a deer, but something's off about it.
It shapeshifts?
Possibly, that is a theory.
I don't know how it could be mass hysteria. Because you're in the woods. Why would you be scared of a deer?
Hey, mass hysteria doesn't mean you have to have people around you at the time. It can be an effect of just knowing that a bunch of people around you are afraid of the same thing. But the knot deer are creatures, like I said, at first glance that appear to be deer, but exhibit subtle and unsettling traits that make them deeply uncanny. So very uncanny valley effect. And people also describe them as evoking a primal sense of wrongness and, again, just an unspecified sense of dread. Like what they're looking at is a creature masquerading as a deer, but not getting the details quite right.
Huh. I've never met a person that's been scared of a deer. I've never met somebody who's actually been terrified of a deer.
Well, actually, I need to check my statistics, but I think deer kill more people every year than like wolves and cougars do.
Well, yeah, because deer want the insurance claim. They want to run in front of cars and do the insurance fraud thing.
Is that why deer kill more people? They're out for insurance fraud?
Yeah. I mean, it's proven.
There you go. Another one of life's mysteries solved by Derek. That's why deer will wait until you're close to them and then leap in front of your car. They're after your insurance money.
That's just what I think. But I didn't know there's connections between these knot deer and black-eyed children.
Maybe you're onto something. Maybe they're both shapeshifters in some way. But both are said to invoke that feeling of dread and uneasiness.
How could I dread a deer? It's just a deer.
But if it's a deer, but something's off about it, that's going to be a little strange.
Then okay, the deer he has a disease or something.
That is another theory. But yeah, in addition to, an odd appearance, people also claim that these knot deer move in ways that are a little too quick or jerky. Like something's just off about their movements. or they're said to stare intently at humans. And the way they stare at them is akin to like a predator sizing up prey, or akin to being overly intelligent for what a deer should be.
Okay, then.
Yes.
This is a little confusing.
Yes. They're also reported to make strange, unnatural noises or even mimic human speech, albeit poorly.
There's.
What was that? And we've lost him. He's on the floor laughing. Derek, are you with us?
Barely. Oh, man.
Oh, Sherman's back. Go rescue him, Sherman. Make sure Derek's okay.
That's my interpretation of what they would sound like imitating human speech.
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, obviously, the concept of not deer are very much rooted in Appalachian folklore and likely predate the internet. But they really sort of had a resurgence around the 2010s. They showed up first on Tumblr, it looks like. Tumblr users began sharing personal anecdotes and small creative writing stories about encounters with these so-called not deer. And the posts often emphasize the eerie atmosphere and primal fear associated with these encounters. And of course, then the stories made their way to Reddit and creepypasta in the mid to late 2010s. And some even speculate the stories of not deer gained more popularity as people spent more time indoors as we got closer to 2020 and the COVID-19 pandemic.
So these are from the Alps, like the Appalachian Mountains?
Not the Alps. The Alps are a very different mountain range. The Appalachian Mountains. Please do not confuse the Alps for the Appalachian Mountains. But no, not deer are not limited to Appalachia, but that is where a lot of the stories of them do come from.
So their origins are from that mountain.
That's what we expect, is that they're a twist on Appalachian folklore that's been around for a while.
So,
and then it just got a new twist on it in the internet days.
So how do you beat the not deer?
We don't really know. All of the stories usually involve people being freaked out and exiting the situation.
How do you exit from a forest that quickly?
They just turn around and leave. Or a lot of them, a lot of the stories are about like seeing them, in a car on the side of the road.
I think I could take that deer. I think I could fight it.
You think you could fight a deer?
Yeah.
I think you are overestimating. I don't think most people cannot even fight a normal deer if the deer decided to go at them.
You know what you do? You go.
Is that what you do? You make the not deer poorly imitated human noises back at them?
Yeah, and then it'll think you are a not deer, but you're just in human form this time, so it'll just go away thinking, oh, we're the same. See, you gotta use your head here.
Okay, well, some of the more famous stories of the not deer include the Blue Ridge Parkway encounter. That's one of the most cited not deer stories, and it involves a traveler driving along the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is a scenic road in the Appalachian Mountains. And the storyteller said to see a deer standing in the middle of the road at night, as deer do, which at first seemed normal because deer like to go out and get in the middle of the road. But as they got closer, they noticed that its eyes were unusually large and were on the front of its head, so forward-facing, like a predator animal, instead of more on the sides of its head like deer and many other prey animals are. And also that its movements were jerky and unsettling.
Okay.
And the driver was overcome with a chilling sense of dread and drove away quickly.
Then hit him.
Okay, we hit a deer out in West Texas, remember?
I do.
Deer do not do good things to cars.
I know, but just
I don't care if it's a not deer. You don't hit intentionally hit the deer with your car, especially if you want to use said car to get away from the deer.
Just go about 20 miles per hour. It'll do some damage, but you know what? You can still drive.
But this is a not deer. You don't know that hitting it at 20 miles an hour isn't just going to make it angry.
I don't know.
Yes, we don't know. Exactly. Do you really want to risk that?
Test it out. We gotta have some theories here. We gotta have some proof. Come on.
Derek is advocating that all of you out there be our guinea pigs for not deer.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying...
That sounds like what you're saying.
I'm not saying that. I'm just waiting for somebody to hit it and just see what happens. What if this deer just shapeshifts into an alien, and then boom, you're in an alien spaceship in your car?
I don't know that many people are looking to get abducted by aliens.
Why not? It would be fun.
Actually, given the way the world is going, beam me up. So, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe the not deer are aliens, and maybe if you hit one at a low speed, you can bum a ride off of this planet, because, it's a dumpster fire right now.
I read something, I don't know if it's true or not, but the CIA says there's life on Mars.
Oh, there probably is, but given what we know about Mars and the data that's come back, that life on Mars is like little bacteria, most likely.
Mm.
Frozen up in the ice caps on Mars.
Well, you know what? Elon wants to get a spaceship to Mars.
So, yes, we've known for a while that there's probably life on Mars, life being like little single-celled microscopic bacteria organisms. So don't get too excited about the life on Mars yet, even though it is cool that they have found life in any form on another planet.
Well, you know what? Elon's going to get us there. That's his plan.
If he stops messing around with Trump.
Well,
Leave Trump to his own devices. You're not going to help him.
All I gotta say this is, Elon, I want to go to space. I want to go see the moon. Can you get me there, Elon?
Yes, Elon, go back to worrying about SpaceX and space travel and stop worrying about politics, please.
Make your cars better, too.
That, too, while you're at it.
I have an idea. Make a cyber motorcycle.
What would a cyber motorcycle look like?
I don't know. I mean, my best guess could be Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay.
They have the cyber motorcycle in the game.
I have not played that game, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
I haven't either, but I've seen clips. But that game was a fail game. It was awful.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
oh,
it was
that's
really
disappointing.
Bad. I'm surprised Keanu Reeves decided to be in that game.
Oh, Keanu Reeves was in that game?
Yeah. And
cool.
It was awful.
Oh, disappointing.
Yeah, the story was bad, and the online mode was, not playable.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the not deer. I don't know how we ended up on that tangent, but back to the not deer. Another popular story of the not deer describes a person walking their dog in a small Appalachian town, and they see a deer at the edge of the woods, but quickly realize that something's wrong. This deer had too many joints in its legs, and its head was twitching unnaturally.
Hey, he just had rabies.
We'll get to theories about the not deer in a minute. But the dog, who was usually not afraid of deer, started whimpering and refused to move forward. So, feeling a deep sense of unease, they turned around and went home.
I have a dog.
Yes, we do.
That I'm petting currently.
Yes, he's hanging out with us while we're recording. Hello, Sherman.
You think this dog's gonna be scared of a deer?
Sherman's nearly the size of a deer.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be scared.
He's a big boy.
So I just have a question.
Yes.
Have anybody touched these deers before?
Of all the stories I found, I have not come across any where people have actually touched them.
So nobody was man enough to just run up to that
Nobody
deer.
was brave enough to go touch him. Again, it sounds to me like Derek is advocating that all of you listening out there go be our guinea pigs for the not deer. If you see one, he wants you to go touch one and tell us what it's like.
I am not saying that. I am just asking a question.
That sounds like where you were going.
I was not going there. I'm just trying to theorize what could happen if the situation came forward of where you accidentally touched one.
That's arguably what makes the not deer so creepy, is that we don't know what happens if you mess with them.
Well, that just seems like people weren't man enough to do it.
See, that sounds like you're advocating for people to go do it.
I would do it.
You would go touch the not deer?
Yeah, I would see what would happen.
Okay.
I got nothing better to do.
All right, if you say so.
If I see one, I just wonder what happens if I charged at it. Would the steer be so confused that it would just run away?
Maybe. But perhaps the most popular account of not deer comes from a Reddit user by the name of ampersand.sys. And his account takes place in Waynesboro, Virginia, near Skyline Drive, actually.
Like Skyline Chili?
No, not Skyline Chili. Skyline Drive is a road that goes through the Shenandoah National Park.
I don't know where that is.
It's in Virginia.
Oh.
That's what I just said, near Waynesboro, Virginia.
Oh, I didn't hear that part either.
Okay, well, now you know. So, this Reddit user would often take weekly trips on his motorcycle to the park and drive during the day to keep his membership with the park up. But one night he was feeling a little bit antsy and decided to go for a moonlight drive around 11 o'clock at night. And so he felt a little uncomfortable shortly after entering the park, but decided that since he was already there, he would press on. And he was familiar with the area, he was armed, and obviously he had a motorcycle that could outrun any wildlife he happened to encounter.
Was he driving a BMW motorcycle?
It does not say, his post does not say what type of motorcycle it was. It was just a motorcycle.
Aw, I just want to know.
If you want to pretend it's a BMW motorcycle, go ahead.
Oh, I was just curious. I thought he would drop the details, I thought he would drop them.
The type of motorcycle is not relevant to the story.
You never know. It could be.
At one point, he pulls over and is enjoying the view, leaning against a light there for a little while. And about 10 minutes go by, and he feels the hair on the back of his neck stand up.
I've had that happen.
Yeah. So he felt like he was being watched. So he sat there, listened for a while, not wanting to draw too much attention to himself by turning on his bike or flashing his light. Then he began to hear something moving in the woods. But still, he's out in the woods. The critters move around. Nothing that really spooked him. But he still couldn't shake that feeling of being watched. So he decided to get back on his bike and head out. So the road toward the exit gate of the little turnoff he went in, he was going slowly so he wouldn't hit anything that may have been using the roads. And then he saw it, what he calls an almost deer. Almost. He describes it as, it was like a deer that someone had never seen a deer drew, but only after someone had described it to him. It stood on the left side of the road, and he said he saw the eyes before his headlights shone on it fully. And it was big, easily the biggest deer he'd ever seen. It didn't have any horns, which suggested that it was a doe, but he said the head looked almost more bovine in shape, so more like a cow than a deer.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So it's almost has a cow-shaped head fixed onto a deer's frame. And he said the legs were too long in proportion to the body.
Are we sure he wasn't on LSD?
He doesn't claim to have been on anything.
He doesn't claim. That doesn't mean he wasn't.
Well, it doesn't say anything about being on anything, but yes, the legs were too long in proportion to the body, and he says it was extremely barrel-chested, meaning it had a very big, broad chest, which is not normal for a deer.
Well, maybe this not deer alien thing, maybe he didn't fully render. He wasn't fully rendered.
Hey, yeah, maybe we are living in a simulation, and it was a deer that glitched out when it was rendering.
Maybe I'm just gonna say we're not, and maybe the alien just, didn't have a good description of a deer. So
yeah, or it's an alien, yeah, and he just got a bad description of what deer look like.
And then boom, he popped out looking like that.
But anyway, this ampersand.sys Reddit user says he's always been creeped out by malformed wildlife, and this was no exception. But he's on this little pull-off area, and he has to leave out the exit to get back to the main road. And he says, unfortunately, he had to either get this thing to move somehow or drive his bike within a few feet of it. Because remember, it's right on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, he did not want to travel another 30 plus miles further up the road and find another gate back to the main road. He didn't want to go close to the deer. So he said he just stopped. He put his feet down about 30 feet away from it and tried to frighten it away. He flashed his lights at it, trying to get it to move. Nothing. Revved the engine. Nothing. Honked his horn at it. Nothing. And so he rested the bike on the kickstand and hopped off, started yelling at it, and still this deer's just standing there.
The deer was trying to communicate with him.
Yeah, so he gets off the bike and he decides he's going to go to the other side of the road and find something to toss at it and see if that will scare it away.
Ooh, we get an encounter.
Yeah, then he says as soon as he crossed over to the other side of the road, it stood up on its hind legs.
What the fuck?
Yep, he says he froze, put his hand on his gun. He was not about to get charged by an angry, confused, malformed doe. He says it took 2 jerky, unnatural steps toward the center of the road on 2 legs and froze again, still staring at him. And then suddenly it shook its head like a dog with a toy, really fast like a dog when it has a toy.
Yeah.
Took another step and then hopped on its 2 legs several times until it disappeared on the other side of the road.
Are we sure this deer wasn't on LSD?
That's your theory on not deer now?
Yeah.
The deer was on LSD?
This could have been how wild this was. Both of them maybe were. Both of them. I'm not accusing anybody, but maybe both of them were.
But anyway, yeah, he says at that point he got back on the bike, got on it and turned the light toward the side of the road where the deer disappeared. And on that side of the road, there's a sheer drop, about a 75 to 80 degree drop compared to the roadway. And this drop is about 40 to 50 feet on that side. Mm-hmm. So there's no way the deer was just standing on the other side of that mountain where that drop was. But he couldn't see it anywhere.
The deer jumped into the pit.
Yeah, so he jumped on the bike and got the hell out of there. And he said he never went back to driving on Skyline Drive at night again after that.
I don't blame him. Maybe this guy had it all wrong. Maybe this deer, maybe he should have charged at it. Maybe he should have just drove near it.
Well, he was trying to go find something to throw at it to scare it away.
Well, why would you do that? Why couldn't you just drive by?
Like he said, it's creepy. He didn't want to get close to it.
Who cares? Just wave at it. Be friendly. Maybe if you're friendly to this deer will just be confused and then he'll just disappear.
There's more advice on dealing with not deer. Be friendly to them and maybe it'll confuse them and they'll leave you alone.
Yeah, see, that's what people don't get about spirits and, creepy stuff. What if you were just what if you just confuse them? If you confuse creepy stuff, maybe they won't attack you. Instead of being scared, just be confusing.
Okay, well, if we ever see a not deer, you can try it.
Yeah, okay.
So, of course, now we have to talk about theories of the not deer. Of course, there's theories that they are just another cryptid, that they are actually unknown creatures, and possibly creatures rooted in folklore similar to, like, the Wendigos or skinwalkers, that they're possibly shape-shifting creatures. And that's why their deer forms never look quite right.
Yeah. What if they're off branch of a Wendigo and it's Skinwalker?
That is a theory. Yeah, that they're creatures similar to Wendigos or Skinwalkers, other shape-shifting creatures like that.
But they're just worse. They're more boring.
But something's just a little off about their deer form because it's not their natural form.
How many more cryptids do we have after this?
I have enough. We'll get through as many as we get through.
I'm just curious because there's no way we could get worse from this.
There's a bunch of lesser known cryptids, okay? We can do many episodes of these, so we'll get through what we get through.
Clowncore should be a cryptid.
The band Clowncore should be a cryptid.
I mean, they would fit in.
If you're not familiar with Clowncore, go look them up on Apple Music or Spotify, you won't be disappointed.
No, look them up on YouTube.
Oh, yes, you have to see the videos they do with it. Yeah, go see them on YouTube.
I mean,
You will not be disappointed.
they will fit in. If anybody understands what I'm talking about, they will fit in.
Sherman, don't touch my microphone, buddy. Thank you.
All right. How many more theories do we have on these theories?
Yeah, last theory is the most reasonable theory. Skeptics of the not deer think that it's a much more mundane explanation, like a disease. Specifically, most likely chronic wasting disease, which is scary enough on its own.
Or they could have like many other diseases while we're at it.
Yeah, but chronic wasting disease, given the description of the deer and how they behave, is the most likely a culprit. And chronic wasting disease is scary on its own, because that is a contagious and fatal neurological disease that affects deer, elk, moose, and other members of the cervid family. That's basically the deer family. It's caused by infectious proteins called prions, which are misfolded versions of animal proteins, and they make their way to the brain and other tissues and lead to brain damage, which causes a range of abnormal behaviors, and earning the disease, the zombie deer disease, it's sometimes called.
Yeah, well, that's our most likely outcome of what these deers could be. But you know what? I'm going to say they're aliens.
Aw. Well, we're going to talk about chronic wasting disease a little more, because it's scary on its own.
See, you would much rather not die to this before radiation.
I don't know. It's close. But chronic wasting disease can have a long incubation period. That's part of what makes it terrifying, is that you can get it and not know that you get it for a long time, sometimes over a year, in which animals can show no symptoms.
See, I'm taking the radiation.
Yeah, and once they do show symptoms, those symptoms are drastic weight loss, which is the wasting part of chronic wasting disease, behavioral changes such as listlessness, lack of fear in humans or aggression, difficulty swallowing, excessive salivation, drooling, or teeth grinding, and coordination issues, which causes staggering or standing awkwardly, moving awkwardly, which fits with many of the not deer movement descriptions.
Yeah. So this disease, can humans get it?
There's currently no confirmed evidence that chronic wasting disease can infect humans, but studies do show that prions can adapt to new hosts. So just because there's no confirmed evidence of it yet doesn't mean that the prions can't adapt and they can affect humans. And we do have other examples of prions that do affect humans.
Ooh. Like what?
Like there's a prion that causes something called Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, which is basically mad cow disease.
Mad cow?
Yes, mad cow disease.
That just sounds like a bad.
It comes from prions that come from basically bad cow meat.
Oh.
Yes. But Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease leads to rapid and progressive brain damage, resulting in severe cognitive decline, motor dysfunction, and eventually death.
Oh, okay, that took a way faster turn to death than I thought.
Yes. There was actually an X-Files episode that talked about Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
Really?
Yes. It was the one where Mulder and Scully went out investigating the little town where basically the entire town worked for a chicken factory that was there in that town.
Yeah.
Chaco's chicken.
Chaco's chicken, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what they eventually found, of course, was that this entire town, all the people in this town were much older than they looked. And the reason for that is because they were cannibals. They ate people. And they did some weird ritual, and when they ate people, it would keep them looking young.
Okay.
But the people in this town started acting weird. One by one, they started kind of going crazy and would either be violent and try to kill other people or end up killing themselves in very violent ways. And as Mulder and Scully do more investigating, they found out that these cannibals in this town had eaten somebody who had Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
Ooh.
Yes, so they ate the person that had Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, and that transmitted it to all of them.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and the way Scully described the disease is basically it turns your brain into Swiss cheese.
Well, you know what? This sounds like a better version of Smile. Smile was basically like the same thing where this demon made you kill yourself in front of people and it spread the demon towards you. It's kind of like this weird thing. You've seen Smile before.
I have kind of seen Smile. I know we watched it when it came out a while ago. We put it on TV and I only halfway paid attention to it.
They made a Smile too.
I've seen that they made a Smile too. But yeah, okay, so Smile was a demon, so yeah, just Smile as a demon instead of a brain prion, but yeah, kind of the same thing. It makes you go crazy and do bizarre things that you would normally never do, and in the meantime, it eats your brain and turns it into Swiss cheese until your brain can no longer sustain your body and you die.
Well, you know, I can say this. Smile was a bad movie. I did not like Smile. It was creepy at first when they smiled at you, but it's like, please don't. You remember when they were promoting the movie during
I do remember.
during the MLB season, they would hire those people to go out and just smile.
And just smile very creepily. Yep, I remember.
If I was semi one of those people, I'd be like, please stop. I know you're getting paid, but I don't care. And if you look over at me, you might get slapped because I ain't going to take that lightly of you just smiling at me because I ain't wanting your demons.
No, we don't want the smile demons here, and we don't want brain prions either.
Yeah, you don't want both.
Yeah. So yeah, brain prions are also up there on the list of ways I would not like to die. I don't think they beat radiation poisoning just because if it's Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, you're so out of your mind that I'm not sure you notice you're dying by the point you do. So there's that, but still not a good way to go.
So what's the next cryptid?
So the next cryptid are rods.
What?
Rods.
You're gonna have to give me more of a fucking description than rods.
You've clearly never heard of rods. Also called skyfish or flying rods.
What the fuck am I hearing? Did you come up with this? Google in like Microsoft Paint or something?
No, I've actually heard of these. I've actually heard of these before, looking into more obscure cryptids for this episode. But
apparently, I do not know my cryptids good enough because it sounds like you came up with this in your fucking head. Because this sounds like a shitty version of like a. I don't even know. I can't even describe what this sounds like. Whoever came up with this, they beat me.
Okay, well, they are called rods because they are a phenomenon characterized by elongated rod-shaped objects that appear in photographs and video footage and look like they're flying.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they're said to move through the air with undulating wave-like motion, and they're often described as having appendages that look like wavy fins or wings. And sightings and recordings in rods have sparked debates about what exactly they are.
It's probably just your camera fucking up.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, yeah, again, they look like, long, thin, cylindrical structures with little wavy, fluttery wings on their sides.
You know what? I solved your issue. Just get a new fucking camera.
And we don't know what size they are. Rods are described as being anywhere from a few inches long to several feet in length.
It's your shitty camera from the 80s. Buy a new camera.
And they're usually observed in outdoor environments, especially areas with abundant sunlight, and they're said to move quickly and erratically.
Huh.
Yes.
I'm guessing it's something to do with your shitty camera from the 80s and the sunlight touching.
Well, hold on to that thought. So, rods first gained popularity in the 1990s after being captured in footage by filmmaker Jose Escamilla in Roswell, New Mexico. So he noticed them on some footage that he caught, and he proposed that these entities were living creatures, possibly yet unknown to science.
Yeah, no.
And of course, other people thought they were UFOs of some sort, possibly like little bitty scouting drones sent from larger alien
Okay, I
societies.
believe in UFOs, but we're pushing it here. Usually, I would not count out a cryptid, but I'm counting out this one. This is not considered a cryptid. This is not good enough to be a cryptid. This is boring. This is a boring cryptid.
Don't hate the rods, okay?
Have the rods done anything to anybody? No, they just been photos.
No, they just show up on camera footage a lot. And yes, skeptics think that they are caused by motion blur. When fast-moving objects like insects are captured on video, the camera's shutter speed can't keep up with the movement and causes their appearance to elongate and create the illusion of a rod shape.
Most likely.
Most likely, also could be insects or birds and just optical illusions. Lighting, camera angles, camera settings can distort the appearance of small, fast-moving objects.
Well, you know what? This is not a cryptid. This is not good enough to be a cryptid.
So all through the 1990s and the early 2000s, we saw people reporting footage, capturing footage of rods and guesses as to what they were. But researchers and skeptics did use high-speed cameras to investigate rod sightings.
What did they find?
Yes, and in their experiments, they found that they used cameras, of course, like high-speed cameras that capture hundreds or thousands of frames per second. And it has been very succinctly disproven that rods in regular cameras footage are actually insects or birds in motion. And because they move too fast for the shutter speed of the camera, they look like little rod-shaped things instead of the bird or the insect that's flying around.
See, it's not a cryptid. It's not a cryptid.
No, it's not a cryptid, but people still, for a long time, did not know what they were. And I included this one as an example of something that was a cryptid that actually has been thoroughly debunked. Because I think it's interesting that people did think it was something worth investigating at one point, but we have actually, in fact, debunked it.
See, it's not good enough to be a cryptid. It got debunked from a cryptid because it was just not good enough. And we kind of proven that your camera sucks.
Yes, that's all rods are. But like I said, I did want to include one that has been actually, firmly debunked. Just because I find that interesting, and that just proves that we are still learning about our world. We are still learning about science. We are learning about everything, and we have to reevaluate our knowledge that we think we have of the world when we learn something new.
Fair enough. If there's any Rods fans that are listening, drop down a comment because I want you to, prove to me that they should be a cryptid.
Yes, so if you've heard of the rods and you want to believe in the rods, I'm sorry, but there have been many experiments that have firmly proved that the shapes that you see on those cameras are insects or birds.
You know what? Any Rods fans that are listening, and you still think they're a cryptid, I just want to know why. Just leave a comment. I just want to know why. I just want to understand why the rods are so cool when you have Mothman. Mothman is 5 times cooler than the rods.
Yes, we have other cryptids, but see, that's another reason I included it, because rods have been debunked, but we have other cryptids that have not been debunked.
We have a lot of cryptids that have been debunked.
Yes.
So you know what, rods fans? Take that. Your rods were debunked.
Okay. Anyway, now we're done with the rods, so moving on to our next lesser-known cryptid. This is the Flatwoods Monster.
The Flatwoods Monster.
The Flatwoods Monster. Also known as the Braxton County Monster, the Phantom of Flatwoods, and by people who appreciate the Flatwoods Monster, Braxy.
I don't know where that county is, so you gotta tell me what state this is in.
Okay, don't worry, we'll get there. It's a cryptid and UFO-related phenomenon that originates from the small town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia.
Of course.
Yes.
There we go.
So the story gained fame after the incident on September 12th, 1952, that spawned all of the Flatwoods Monster lore and is now considered a significant part of UFO lore in general.
This better be good.
So, on the evening of September 12th, 1952, Two brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their friend Tommy Heyer, saw a bright object streak across the sky and appear to crash on a nearby hillside.
Huh.
So they ran home, they got their mother, Kathleen May, and then they got a few other people to come with them, including a National Guardsman named Eugene Lemon, and they went to go investigate the crash.
I was going to do a reinterpretation of what that dude said to his mother, but I can't think of anything to
Aw.
say. Besides, hey, mother. I don't know why it's British there.
They're in West Virginia. Why are they British?
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Okay, but anyway, so the group goes out to investigate the supposed crash site. And when they arrive, they reportedly see a glowing red object on the ground, and then they notice a strange figure nearby.
What they didn't realize, that was the secret McDonald's formula that Ronald McDonald's been hiding the entire time.
Oh, that's the secret Ronald McDonald formula for McDonald's?
Yeah, he was shipping it over to a McDonald's location that just opened.
Oh. Okay, so there you go. That's the answer. That's what it was. But anyway, so yeah, they see the glowing object on the ground, and then they see a strange figure, which they describe as roughly humanoid. So roughly like a human with a round face, except it was about 10 to 12 feet tall. And its head, which was round, had a like spade-shaped hood behind it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like kind of like the Ace of Spades, like a spade-shaped hood behind it, and its body appeared to be metallic or mechanical, and what seemed to be draped in dark clothing or some sort of metallic-looking skirt.
It was the robots. The robots are taking over.
It's kind of described like a robot. Its eyes emitted a greenish-orange glow, and Fred said he noticed that it had small claw-like hands, cloth-like folds when its skirt thing, except it still looked metallic, and yeah, its head resembled an ace of spades. And the group also reported a nauseating odor, almost like a sulfuric smell in the area.
Yeah, I'm gonna need like a drawn picture because I have no clue what the hell
I will get you a picture in just a minute.
Yeah, I need a picture.
And Eugene Lemon, the National Guardsman, claimed that the creature emitted a hissing sound as it moved and appeared to glide toward them. And so, of course, at that point, the group turned around and ran away.
Hiss.
Hiss. Yeah, so give me a second. I'll get you a picture of the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah, this thing is like a... Maybe there's a siren head. Maybe this is siren head's like brother.
It's I don't think it's Siren Head, but there you go. There's pictures of the Flatwoods Monster.
Are you sure these people weren't on LSD either? Because this is just wild. Y'all gotta look this up. This is crazy.
But yes, that's the Flatwoods Monster.
What?
So, of course, they run away and they tell their story, and the story quickly made national headlines, sparking both curiosity and skepticism. Of course, UFO researchers and UFO enthusiasts thought it was an extraterrestrial being.
He's, hissing sound is just... I'm caught up on the hissing. Like, couldn't even speak.
Who knows? If it was a mechanical suit, which it sounds like the whole body was described as being metal or mechanical in some way, then it might have just made hissing sounds while it moved.
Huh. Oh.
So we don't know.
Like pistons or something.
Yes. Oh no. Sneeze. Okay. Sorry.
Well, if we're thinking like pistons.
So, yeah, maybe the hissing sound came from pistons that made this exoskeleton body move.
I'm trying to think of a voice this thing would sound like if it could speak. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
I don't know either, because it's not reported as having spoken to anyone.
I am from Planet. I don't know where I was going with that one.
I don't know, but that was funny. But anyway, stories spread to the point where an article was written in the Fate magazine by UFO writer Gray Barker, which was based on his interviews regarding the incident. And according to Barker's account, he published he published an account of his interviews with everyone who saw the creature. And according to Barker, he also interviewed someone named Lee Stewart Jr., who worked with the Braxton Democrat, which was a publication in that area. And he said that Stewart reported that he found skid marks in the field where the alleged crash happened and an odd gummy substance left behind. So, of course, UFO enthusiasts identified that as evidence of a UFO landing.
What if it was just chowing down on gummy bears?
Hey, yeah, the alien maybe had some gummy bears, and that was the gummy substance left over.
And then it kind of fired, then boom, gummies.
Who knows?
Why could nobody take a DNA sample?
This is in the 1950s, my dude.
Well, we could just take it in to just do some science stuff and find out what it could be.
Yeah, but there's no stories indicating that they collected any of the gummy substance.
See, this is why I don't like listening to all these cryptid things, is because, yeah, it left something behind. Oh, what do? Just leave it there. And don't take it in for anything. Like, you know what? Bigfoot's gonna throw you through a tree.
Yes, start carrying around a little pack of, little tweezers and plastic baggies with you at all times so that if you ever run into a cryptid and it leaves something behind, you can pick up the stuff and keep it and send it to the proper authorities to be tested. Or Bigfoot will throw you through a tree.
I don't know about that part, but yeah, I need some evidence.
You are the one who just said Bigfoot will throw you through a tree.
Well, you know what? Bigfoot just likes throwing people through trees. I'm not saying it's going to be you if you don't do it. Maybe he might do it to somebody else. I don't know. Bigfoot's scary.
Right. Well, anyway, immediately following the sighting, there was a sense of fear and unease among some residents. Especially given the vivid and terrifying descriptions of the witnesses, they didn't know what was going on. And that, combined with national media attention, created an atmosphere of mystery and anxiety.
Well, you know what? All I gotta say is, I would have charged it.
You would have charged it?
Yeah. I just would have been like, you know what? If I'm gonna go out one way, I'm gonna go out in my lifetime, so you know what? Why not go out a cool way and get taken by an alien?
But anyway, after the initial fear, that gave way to curiosity and speculation. Many locals were intrigued and flocked to the area to learn more, especially UFO enthusiasts who thought it sounded like a UFO encounter and wanted to see if they could find something else about it. But not everyone in Flatwoods believed the story. Some residents dismissed it as a misidentification and overactive imaginations, particularly since most of the group who saw it was children. And they said the children just got panicked in the dark and misidentified something, and that led to the story of the Flatwoods Monster.
Well, you know what? Usually people die in just, standard ways. How about being the first person ever to die to an alien? You would be down in history.
Confirmed first person to die to an alien? Yes, you would.
You would be down in history. Nobody would forget you. Be like, that dude died to an alien.
But you're still dead.
You know what? At least you're in the history books. Just being honest.
You have some odd priorities, my dude.
You know what? If you had a chance to fight an alien, why wouldn't you? Get it on film, have somebody film behind a tree or something.
Depends on what the alien is that I'm fighting.
Well, you know what? I don't care what type of alien it is. I'm just getting that on film.
If it's the xenomorphs, I'm not fighting them.
You know what you do to a xenomorph?
If it's the predator, I'm not fighting them.
I can take the predator.
You cannot take the predator.
Yeah, I got the predator.
You cannot take the predator, my dude.
I got the predator. You know what? I'm going to tell him he's a bitch if he don't drop all his shit and he don't fight me with his fists.
Do you think that will work?
Yes. The predator better drop all his shit. If he doesn't, he's a bitch. He'll be known for a bitch in eternity because he didn't drop his shit. He didn't have a fair fist fight.
Even in a fist fight, you think you can take the predator.
Yeah, kick him in the balls.
What if he kicks you in the balls first?
I can block it. You just gotta punch him. He ain't gonna be prepared. He's like seeing people just run away from him. And he just gotta have some random motherfucker say, drop all your shit and fist fight me. He ain't gonna be prepared. And then he went the 1-2 combo and he's done. You beat the predator. And the xenomorphs, all you gotta do is just powerbomb them. They have weak bats. I mean, look at them. Their bats look weak.
No, I don't think they do.
Their bats look weak. Hit them with a powerbomb on a tree. Boom, they're done. 1, 2, 3. I win.
Oh, Lord, child.
I don't get the whole fear of the xenomorphs and the predator. All you gotta do is just tell them they're a bitch if they don't fight you with hands and fists, and then boom, you can win.
We will have to have you watch the original Alien then.
I have seen it. I've seen clips of the original Alien and the Predator.
No. Clips don't do it. You've got to watch the whole movie.
I've seen them plant the things inside the person and they pop out like, okay, yeah, cool. That's a thing they can do. But guess what? They won't fight with hands and fists because they have to use all their other stuff to beat a person. If they have to use all their other stuff to be a person, that means they can't fight with their hands and fists.
Okay, my dude, okay.
Just think about it.
Oh, you children of this generation that don't have appropriate respect for the Predator and the Xenomorphs.
No, because they're a bitch. They got all this other shit. I just have my hands and fists.
Okay, if you say so. Anyway, moving on. As time went on, the people of Flatwoods shifted from the fear and skepticism to now embracing the Flatwoods Monster as a unique part of their culture and history. And the town actually now celebrates with a museum dedicated to the Flatwoods Monster, annual festivals and events that attract UFO enthusiasts and cryptid hunters. And of course, they have monster-themed souvenirs and merchandise, and they even have a big chair dedicated to the Flatwoods Monster next to their city hall. There it is.
That's a disappointing chair. That looks awful.
Aww.
I'm sorry. I had to say it. It doesn't look like anything like the monster.
Yes, it does. Don't you hate on the chair?
They could have had the chair and put a statue on the chair. Just set a statue in the chair. But you know what? They had to use paint. I'm sorry. Anybody listening from that town, I'm sorry. They could have done better. They could have done a little bit better.
Don't hate on the Flatwoods Monster chair, my
I'm
dude.
not hating that much, but I'm just saying they could put a little more effort.
Oh, come on.
I mean, look at it. Come on.
Anyway, unfortunately, there were no other widely documented or credible sightings of the Flatwood Monsters since that one encounter on September 12th, 1952.
You know where he is?
Where is he?
He's hiding in the woods.
Oh, is that why no one's found him?
Yeah.
Yeah, there have been a few reports that may or may not be connected, but again, nothing credible.
Back to the chair. Let me see the chair one time. Maybe I'll change my opinion.
All right. There's the chair.
Okay, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, don't hate the chair.
The chair probably has some secret powers. That's why it looks like that.
But anyway, despite only having that one credible encounter with the Flatwoods Monster, the Flatwoods Monster has still made its way into modern lore. It was featured as a character in Fallout 76. There's apparently an Easter egg in the Fallout 76 game where you can go find the Flatwoods Monster.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Oh yeah, I've seen that before. This dude fought this thing. I mean, this thing ate an entire nuke. He dropped a nuke on him.
It ate the nuke?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he tanked the nuke. Nuke drops, boom, blows up. This monster just yeah, no.
Okay.
And then he shot him in the head and then he died.
All right.
So it seems like nukes aren't effective, but bullets are. Just, if you're trying to hunt this creature, I'm just giving you some tips.
Hey, tips from Derek on Fallout 76 if you're hunting the Flatwoods Monster.
I saw him get shot with a bullet and he died.
Okay.
The nuke could have tripped it. I'm not for sure. But you know what? I saw him eat a nuke, so.
Okay, so there's your Fallout 76 advice. And also apparently in The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, although not explicitly named, the Flatwoods Monster heavily influenced the design of the alien creatures called Gorman aliens in the game.
I just gotta say this for anybody who's playing Fallout 76, just get Fallout 4. Nobody plays Fallout 76. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
Okay, I defer to your judgment on that because I don't know anything about the Fallout games.
I've never met a person who's played The Legend of Zelda.
Really?
Yeah.
I never had any of the consoles that had the Zelda games growing up, but I had many friends who played all the Legend of Zelda games.
I always thought they were kind of boring.
Aww.
Yeah, I have some hot takes. Fight me. Wait, no.
Fight me. Wait, no.
That was that was a Beavis and Butthead moment. Right there. Right there.
But anyway, the Flatwoods Monster has also showed up on the TV show Project Blue Book. They had an episode titled "The Flatwoods Monster."
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that had to be on there.
Yes, it was. It was on Project Blue Book. They had an episode about the Flatwoods Monster, and it also showed up on History Channel's show Monster Quest.
Yeah, they didn't find them.
No, they only had that one encounter. Of course, they didn't find it.
You know, the History Channel. I don't even know what goes on there. That place is like another dimension. It like doesn't even exist in Earth.
Where does the History Channel exist then?
Hell if I know. I don't know how that channel's still a channel. I mean, who watches it?
I don't know anymore.
Since like 2020, nobody's watched the History Channel. Like, if there's anybody listening that watches the History Channel, please tell me. I don't know what goes on there. And I'm never brave enough to see what goes on there. Because the History Channel is just like...
Was Swamp People run on the History Channel?
Yeah.
Yes. That's the last thing I remember watching on the History Channel. Yeah, they had Swamp People.
The last thing I remember watching the History Channel was Swamp People and Ice Road Truckers.
Yes, and Ice Road Truckers. They had Ice Road Truckers too. Yeah. Yep, those are the last things I remember seeing on the History Channel.
Besides Ancient Aliens. And they had that weird looking guy.
Yes, the Ancient Aliens guy with the hair.
Yeah, he can never find anything. He made all this wild theory shit and is, like, bro, you gotta give it up someday. You gotta give up someday, bro. You ain't gonna find them.
Well, of course he's not going to find anything. His whole theory is that ancient civilizations were built by aliens. What does he expect to find?
Something. He expects to find something. He just has to give up. If he's listening, I'm sorry, but it's time to give up. You've had, like, I don't know, 10 seasons and you still haven't found anything, so time to pack up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he expects his smoking gun to be, that all ancient civilizations were built by aliens.
I like Finding Bigfoot, but they've had like 14 seasons, and they still haven't found Bigfoot.
That's why Bigfoot is still the hide-and-seek champion.
You know what, Finding Bigfoot people, you just gotta give up too. I'm calling out all these cryptid hunters. I'm sorry, but it's time to pack up. If you couldn't find them the first 10 seasons, pack up. It's time. Nobody cares anymore.
Bigfoot is the hide-and-seek champion.
Yeah. I know where Bigfoot is.
What is Bigfoot?
I know where he is.
Oh, you know where he is. You know where he is, not what he is. Okay, where is he?
I can't tell you. It's classified information.
Dude, you get my hopes up like that.
You know, I signed the NDA with Bigfoot.
Oh, that's what Bigfoot did. He got you into signing an NDA with him.
Yeah. I can't break it.
Damn Bigfoot.
Yeah, he's pretty smart. He's a smart guy.
That's why he's the hide-and-seek champion.
He also has a Bigfoot, if you didn't know.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, he got me signed till 30.99.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know how he pulled that one off.
Wow, okay. So if you happen to live past 30.99,
then I can
then you can tell us where Bigfoot is hiding.
Yeah, that probably could happen.
Okay. So anyway, before we wrap it up, let's talk about theories on the Flatwoods Monster.
He's an alien.
Well, yes, that is an alien, is that it is a UFO.
Uh,
And given the robotic and metallic nature of the creature, people suggest that it's not actually an alien itself, but that it's a mechanical probe sent by extraterrestrials to explore our, to explore our planet. Why is that funny?
I wasn't expecting that. What? What?
Yes.
That makes no sense.
That it's a probe, that it's not an actual biological entity.
Oh yeah, it's a probe. It can't be just like a robot. It has to be a probe. What is up with aliens and probes? Like what?
A probe just means you're sending something out to look where you can't go yet.
Oh, how can they not go? They're so ahead of us.
They're being cautious.
Oh, what are we gonna do? Our air defense systems.
Not us, but they don't know that they can survive on our planet. They might have a very different biological makeup than we do, and our planet might be not good environment for them.
That makes sense. Like that one movie Tom Cruise was in. It was pretty shitty.
Yes, War of the Worlds, and do not. Okay, the movie was not the best. All right, that you need to read the book. But yes, that's what killed the aliens in War of the Worlds. Is they got overconfident and they came out on our planet, and then all of our viruses and bacteria killed them.
Yeah, fuck you,
because
aliens.
they did not have immunities to them.
Yeah, they suck. They should wear hazmat suits, but no, they couldn't think about that.
So yes, that's why people suggest that, based on the fact that it seemed like a metal creature, that it's a probe, that it's not an actual alien itself.
You know, are they building antiviruses to beat us? They're just building up virus defenders and just ready to come take over the world.
You know, if they wanted to come down to this planet, that would be smart. They would send something to collect samples of the viruses and bacteria here and find a way to inoculate themselves against it. Yes, that would be very smart if that were what they were trying to do.
Ooh, I just might have cut the whole civilization of us. My bad. So if the aliens can take over, that's on me.
Yeah, I if they are doing that, I think they figured that out before you gave them that idea.
What if they did?
So I think you're safe.
Okay. Oh, well, we'll just roll with it.
But anyway, non-UFO hypothesis. A lot of people suggest that the bright light that they saw streak across the sky and crash onto the hillside was a meteor.
Yeah, that's most likely the case.
Yes, and it was said to be seen in 3 different states that people reported a meteor falling out of the sky. So most likely, what they thought was an alien UFO crash was actually just a meteor crash site. And the glowing stuff they saw at the crash site could have been the remnants of a meteor.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, and of course, burning vegetation from the crash site.
Yeah, meteors do pretty cool things when they hit the
and
Earth.
the sulfuric gassy smell could have been attributed to swamp gas, or possibly some, if possible, there was some sulfur enclosed in the meteor that made it through Earth, and then when it smacked, it released the sulfur, and that created the smell.
Yeah, but it doesn't prove what the alien thing was.
No, but there's a theory on that. There's a theory that one of the most widely accepted theories by skeptical people is that it was a barn owl perched on top of a large tree. And so that's what the glowing eyes were that they saw. There are flashlights and stuff hit the owl's eyes, and the owl's eyes reflect the light back, and that's what the glowing eyes were. And barn owls have a white, almost heart-shaped face disc around their face that might have been attributed to looking like that spade shape in dim light.
Okay, now I remember the episode. That's what the guy theorized, and then they came back with some disease or something on their skin, and then
yeah, and that was just caused by the sulfur they were exposed to, and because they got too close to the meteor, and it was still very hot from falling through the atmosphere. Yeah,
that's most likely the outcome. I learned that from a TV show.
You learned that from Project Blue Book. Yes.
Yeah. I just remember that now.
That is the prevailing theory, but there's a barn owl, in case you don't know what a barn owl looks like.
I know what a barn owl looks like.
Okay, well, there you go.
I could take an owl also in a fight.
Why are you worried about everything you can take in a fight? Why are you fighting owls to begin with?
What if the owls try to take over?
I don't think the owls are taking over.
I mean, the way they just look at you. I mean, they just look like they're ready for a fight.
They just have big eyes. Leave the owls alone.
You don't know if they want to fight or not.
Okay, we don't know that for sure, but...
See? You just gotta be prepared.
But usually animals don't want to fight you just because, and we are not on their menu for things they eat, so typically you don't have to worry about them picking a fight with us.
How would you feel if an owl looked at you like this and just went...
I would think that's what owls do.
You don't know that.
My dude, owls have very big eyes and they can turn their head almost 360 degrees around. That's just what they do.
See, they should be able to do that. That's scary.
Hey, that's just how owls are. So if an owl looked at me like that, I'd think it was just an owl being an owl.
Well, if he's looking over like, I can take that person. Well, if he's thinking the same thing as me, see, like...
Owls are not that violent, my dude. Unless you're, a mouse, then they're trying to eat you.
I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. I'm trying to make it funny.
Well, you're doing a good job. Don't worry. But anyway, another hypothesis that we talked about is, of course, mass hysteria. The witnesses were, remember, primarily kids. And so they may have just been scared by what they were seeing and not being able to see fully, being in the dark and misinterpreting what they were afraid of. And then that just fed the fear among them.
See, I go with the other theory that was meteor, then the owl, and then boom.
And then, of course, there's the military experiment theory. It was the 1950s. It was a time of intense military activity. Lots of testing was going around on aircraft and weaponry. This is what led to the rise of Area 51 being a hotbed for aliens.
Yeah, there's no aliens there.
Yeah, most of Area 51 was just military testing. But so this was around that same time period, though. So theorists propose that what everybody saw might have just been a malfunctioning military device and military personnel wearing experimental suits. And the sulfuric smell could be linked to fuel or other chemical links from the aircraft crash.
Yeah, not likely. Well, you know what? You remember... Oh, I just remember something. You remember when they had that whole plan to storm Area 51?
I remember the plan to storm Area 51. I remember these idiots thinking that Naruto running up to Area 51 would prevent snipers from hitting them.
Yeah, run with both of your arms behind your back. Not like there's going to be snipers to say, like, can I take the shot? Yes, you can. Boom, hit him in the head.
Yeah, I still have yet to find anything explaining why they thought Naruto running would prevent snipers from hitting them.
See, I guess they were hoping that the snipers were going to target their arms or something, so they would not shoot them dead center mass. It just goes against the whole thing that they trained them for. Shoot them dead center mass or shoot them in the head. Don't shoot them in the arms. They were worried about the arms and not worried about their chest or their head.
Yeah, that one was funny. And like I said, I still haven't found anything explaining why they thought that was a good idea or why that would work.
And they dropped this all on the internet. And
I know.
And so the military pricked for this
I
shit.
know. They dropped it out in the open on the internet. But let's be honest. Anybody who actually planned to storm Area 51 couldn't have been very blessed in the intelligence area to begin with. So,
well, you know what? Guess what happened? 50,000 people showed up, and all they did was just stand there. And guess what happened? They had crews come out. They had a lot of military personnel stand there. But you know what? If it got bad enough, guess what they would have done? They would have pulled out like a Hummer with a machine gun on it, and boom, solved the whole issue.
Yeah, the whole Storm Area 51 thing was nothing but a fool's errand to begin with.
Or maybe they just say, you know what? I feel like spending some tax dollars today. Pull out a B-52 and just do a bombing run or something. If anybody's listening who thought about storming Area 51, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Don't.
You know what?
Don't. Use your common sense. It is there. I promise. Use it.
There's no aliens. Unless you just want to see, like, you know, upcoming line of military aircraft. But you know what you should do? You should just get a job there and just enlist or something, and then you can go to Area 51. But you know what? Maybe if you weren't dumb and tried a Naruto run away from snipers, maybe their idea was the snipers were going to feel so bad for them that they were just going to let them in.
Hey, maybe. Maybe that's what they were going for. Okay, so somehow we started with the Flatwoods Monster, and somehow we ended up on the supposed plan to storm Area 51 by Naruto running at it.
Yeah, they dropped it on Twitter.
Yeah, not smart.
I guess they weren't expecting the military just to open Twitter and be like, "Oh, okay, we can prep for this."
Yeah, so like I said, somehow we ended on that, but that's what we do. We talk about odd stuff here. So anyway, thank you all for listening. Until next time.